So what we're going to cover tonight, storage, lights, trees, whatever else is on the screen before I clicked it too fast, ornaments and wreaths. So I want to get an idea for you all, though. Tell me a little bit about essentially your level of Christmas crazy. Does anybody have more than 2 trees in their house?
Yes.
More than 5?
No. No.
At one point I had a full-size tree, a small tree at the top of the landing for the boys, and 7 mini trees. I have ceased that. The mini trees were pre-decorated, went back in the box every single year. But Christmas is strong in our family, and definitely have a problem. And my issue was, for me, I would buy new things every year, and then I'd have to add it in. And you know, I've got 2 boys. They don't participate. I don't know about you guys. My husband begrudgingly will even get the boxes down for me. So I'm a one-woman show over here when it comes to a Christmas holiday and an environment in our house. So in order to do that and not make it take 2 full days, I just came up with some really, I think, simple ways that we took some of the processes we use in our staging business and applied it to how I deconstruct and then reassemble Christmas, okay? So one of the things I'm going to show you too is, well, I think it's just a little question here. When do you guys typically start taking down Christmas? I'm seeing all sorts of things on social media saying, hey, are we going to wait till after the 6th this year? I mean, what about you guys? Mary, what is your plan for deconstructing this year?
It'll probably be this weekend.
Okay.
Only because I have the baby on so many days that, you know, I won't have time to devote to it. So
right.
I'll do it this, yeah.
Okay.
Maybe start Friday.
Sharon, what about you?
So my 93-year-old father is coming on Sunday. So I've had to de-decorate that room because he can't do the stairs. So he's in one of the main level rooms. But I've decided to leave up my main tree, and I'm big about the garland on my stairwells.
Yes.
I have a lot of stairwells, so they all are beautifully adorned.
Yes.
And I think I'm going to leave that on till at least sometime next week because that won't affect him and his safety.
Yes.
So I think I will. So I'm very much all ears about how to make it easy, especially that stair garland, because I tend to get fancier and fancier with it every year.
Oh yeah.
And you know, putting it back up and so that the ends reach right. And
I got you on that one. That is, I can do my garland in about 15 minutes. Every year.
Man, wow.
Yeah, by the time I get the box to the time it's done. So yeah.
It just takes that much to twist tie, right?
So I've got a process though.
Okay.
So before we even get into that, let's talk about garland, because that's one of those things that I think is, you know, it's a big deal depending upon the size of your staircase. And if we want, I can even show you what I have. Mine is much more winter. I don't have it festooned with, you know, a gazillion different bows and ornaments. I have a lovely, you know, bow and some ornaments and things on the newel post, but I don't have it everywhere. But I've got a double staircase that has very strange little zigs and zags. But what I have learned to do is, number one, I wired all the individual pieces together, because I used to use the fresh greenery from Costco, which was beautiful and smelled wonderful. It was messy as get out. So for us, you know, I decided one year, I just got it on sale after Christmas, and I wired it all together. But what I did is I wired it in such a way that I know basically in 2 full segments. So one whole segment goes at the top, and when there's a break, there's another one. So there's 4 pieces. And I put a little bit of painter's tape written in silver Sharpie that says, attach this outside the guest bedroom. This goes in the middle. This goes in the other part. Now, this is magic right here. I don't know if you guys can see this. What this is, have you guys seen this before?
No.
So they call it garland ties. And I got this a couple of years ago, I think online at Target. You can probably find it on Amazon. But what I was using, because we have more polyurethane on our banister. I mean, it is so heavily coated, it's ridiculous. I couldn't scratch that if I wanted to. But so I used a floral wire, which I don't recommend, because it basically held it and it was visible. But then I found these guys. And all I do is I wrap it around, and I leave these on. I leave it wrapped around one of the sides, and that way I know that's where I'm, because in addition to, I don't wrap it all the way around, I swag it. And
Yeah.
so
That is genius.
yeah, say it again.
That's genius.
Well,
Genius. I need those.
I'm telling you, they are the best things ever. Now, I don't use these outside because they're too short and it doesn't work. I use my floral wire for any exterior, but for this, it really works out well. So literally, between the combination of putting the painter's tape and then knowing where I swag it here, it literally takes me, it's maybe 15 minutes. And that's just because I'm adjusting a little bit, and it always takes me a couple times to make sure I'm pulling up. I have swags at the bottom. Do you want to see it? Should we
We
Yes.
do. Take us over there.
make you seasick here? All right, I'm going to stop the share if I can figure out how to do that. Oh, there we go. It's right there at the front. I'm going to have to walk. Okay. All right, I'm unplugging and we're going on a little walk, guys. Hey, Don, I saw that you joined us. All right, now you're going to see my tub in the background probably because that's my prop for holding up my computer. That is not my normal dining room decor. Okay, so, and this, I've tried to do this before. It's kind of hard to see it, but do you see this? This is a swag, which is a totally separate piece. So the bow is attached with floral wire, and this right here, there you go. This is that little swaggy thing that I was telling you about. You can see it. Okay. And then if you look up, and this is just hard to do. You can,
yeah.
you can sort of see, there we go. You see that?
Yeah.
Well, what's nice is you can still hold on to your banister easier because it's not wrapped all the way around.
Yes, and to see, I was going to see if I could show you the side view of it, and it just swags. It looks very natural, I think. It's not too fussy and overdone, but it's got a little bit of bling at the bottom. I like it. I think it works and it makes sense for us.
Yes, indeed.
All right, now I will show you part of my issue that I've always struggled with, guys, in years past is, and maybe I'm just crazy like this, but one of the things that I would always struggle with is the fact that I would have to deconstruct whatever's in my room, because I mean, I even decorate my living room like a crazy person. So I have to take those things down and put them away before I can put anything up. And that's what I think takes a lot of time for me. But I've found that once I finally stop buying Christmas stuff, I assemble my little individual vignettes. And I don't normally have 3 things on here. I did this just for demonstration purposes, but I do normally have 2. But once I have a look that I want, take a picture of it, put it in an album on my phone so that I can look at it every year. And I use storage that is also decorative to keep those things intact. So here's a perfect example. So hopefully you guys, can you see this well enough? So these 3 things, these jars are apothecary jars that typically live on my master bathroom vanity. So of course, when I get ready to take them down for Christmas, they're a little dusty. They've had soap on the inside of them because it has all like those cute little things you get from your travels. So I have to wash the darn things and put them away. Wash them and before I can even put them out. But I have this decorative little, tin bucket, if you want to call it that normally sits on my fireplace. And I have Ziploc bags. And this one says large apothecary. Small apothecary, and I dump those suckers in them and I put them in this, and I don't even have to put it away. I cart it right next to my fireplace. So the beauty of that is it's an easy, repeatable process, right? For this little setup here, this actually was, do you guys remember when taking a silver tray and doing chalkboard paint in the middle of it was kind of the rage as for crafts and things like that? I had one of those, and for a while, that's how I tracked down the number of days to Christmas. Well, then that kind of style, really came and went. So this actually, I hot glued the bottom here to make it able to hang. But now I just turned it into a tray because it's not that nice of a silver tray. It is cheap, cheap, cheap that I picked up at a secondhand store. But all of this goes into one individual bag, and it goes into a bin. And that's how I keep that sort of stuff together. Because if not, I would never get it done, because I don't know about you guys. I mean, this is what I do for a living, but we've got systems and I know what I'm doing when I go in here. But when I'm doing it at home, then I'm futzing with it and I'm changing and I'm like, oh, I don't know. And then I stop and I cook dinner and I come back and it just doesn't get done. So if you need to basically have the ability to get it out and put it back, this is the way to do it. I also want to show you a little tip for bows. Does anybody have used bows either on those garland or any other places for decorating that when you store it? So have you seen the toilet paper roll trick?
Yes.
Okay, so that's easy. Now wire ribbon is always your friend because it doesn't matter unless you crush the heck out of it. It really doesn't matter, but this is a great thing for those nice bows like at the end of my banisters. You can use tissue paper, you could use cotton balls, it's all messy. But if you start saving your toilet paper rolls, this will keep them from crushing and getting those yucky wrinkles, and that's a good thing. All right, now I'm gonna share the screen one more time because I wanna talk a little bit about, oops, there we go. All right, so ornament storage. Tell me, and this is, full disclosure, tell me, what are we dealing with here? Do you utilize an old shoebox? Do you keep it on the tree, throw out plastic bag? What do you guys do?
So I have a big plastic bin that is for ornaments and it's supposed to hold about 18. And I have gotten to the point where I shove as many in there where I can still close the door.
Yes.
I do not take good care of my ornaments, although I'm mostly dealing with ornaments that are like from over the years, from the kids. So not that I don't place value on those little gems. But
yes,
I would need so many of those that you have on your screen.
Right.
So I've gotten into the very bad habit of just shoving those in those, and I have about 4 of those, and it fits all my ornaments.
And I'm somewhere in between. I only have 1 of those, to be honest, and I use a trunk that I think my husband had in college. It's like one of those old locker trunks with it's awful. But I keep it, the nice ones, the nice glass or the Lennox or the blown glass, Kurt Adler type, I keep those in their original boxes. And then we have larger decorative, those really heavy storage decorative boxes that you get for Christmas. I put things in there with tissue paper. But I want to show you a trick if you either don't want to invest in a piece or you don't have storage for it, but yet at least you want to have some things that you need to protect at a slightly higher level. I want you to think plastic cup or solo cup for your actual glass balls. Sits right in here. So what I would do is take your Amazon boxes and put down a layer, and then you can fit a lot of these in those, either just a simple tub or basically any plastic storage bin. And I think that's a really simple way to deal with that. My computer's talking to me. Let's see if we can hit next on this. I don't know where my mouse is going. So, all right, talk to me about lights. Does anyone struggle with storage for lights?
I didn't hear you.
Lights. Does anyone struggle with dealing with lights?
I tried using hangers last year.
That's what I did. How did that work?
Pretty good, actually, just like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
So all this is a dollar store hanger, but I like the ones that have a notch because then you can put the hooks here. And here, I thought it worked really well.
Yeah.
I've done this probably for, the last 10 years. You can also take just simply a piece of cardboard and notch it on each end and wrap it that way. And then they pack a little bit flatter. As long as you wrap them tight, it's going to be fine. But lights are one of those things that are just a little bit difficult, right? And I just keep them in a simple bin, and I'm actually not very nice to them. I just throw them in and hope they work next year. And I buy so many of them that it doesn't matter. If I need to buy more, I don't care. They're like $5 at Walmart, right?
Yeah.
Okay, talk to me next about, I'm gonna stop share and do it again because for some reason it didn't really, my little mouse doesn't want to work. And I don't know. This always happens when I'm getting on here. Anyway, so talk to me about wreaths. How do you guys deal with storing your own wreaths? Does anybody do wreaths on the window? The outside?
I do.
I do. Yeah.
Okay. Well, how do you store yours, Sharon? Oh, sorry. Mary, go ahead.
No, that's okay. No, a couple of years ago, I bought after Christmas, I think. It was well after Christmas. So they were on sale because right after Christmas, they typically aren't. I bought a couple of those huge wreath, the plastic holders.
Yeah.
And they're great. I mean, they're huge. They take up a lot of space, but I mean, they save the wreath. So
that's
You're
great.
talking about the big bags, Mary?
it's a big plastic bin. It's a round bin that it goes in, and it's just they're huge.
I'm using similar. I've got the big plastic bags, like almost the size bags that you can put a tree in.
Yeah.
With the wheels even, and I can stack. I have 8 windows that I've got wreaths on. And then I've got my big over the mantle wreath and my this wreath and my door wreath. So like I try to get them all into that one bag, and it looks like a tree when I'm done with it because it's tall and it's wide. But that's been good. Same with the garland because my garland is huge.
Right.
I've been buying those strands from Costco. They're pretty. And Jill Moskell just gave me all of hers yesterday.
Oh,
so
lucky girl.
Now I could put those outside. Because at $25 a strand, those add up. So
yeah, absolutely.
It's same idea with the garland as the wreath.
Well, and then talk to me more about when you're packing up things. Do you typically deconstruct Christmas by room? Do you have bins by room, by type of decor? How do you guys handle that?
Not that organized.
I just have a bunch of bins. My husband built a storage area in the garage a couple of years ago. So we just get all the bins down after we take everything out, decorate, put them back up for the rest of, Christmas, and then take them down again. It doesn't take that long really.
Right.
Because it's right off the entrance to the house.
Right.
And then I just grab a bin and just work my way around the house. I don't have any rhyme or reason. I just sort of throw everything in there.
Yeah. Well, and I really don't know how I started or kind of why I started dealing or putting it away. I don't know if it's just more thinking about it's the way that we do things in staging, or is it, I was realizing over time that it really was taking me not 2 full days, but a day and a half. Not because I have that much Christmas. I mean, I do, but also it's just, you want to make it fun and you don't want it to make it to be just such an incredible chore. And we took our storage is right now, we've got a giant walk-in closet and an upstairs room over the garage, and we decided that's going to be the Christmas closet for the majority of it. But, I just basically started packing things up, everything that, for example, I have wreaths and pieces of art and all sorts of crazy things. But for our mudroom, laundry room, and because we don't ever use our front door ever, so our mudroom is our entrance, and I want that to feel homey and fun. So every single thing that we have there, from the things that go in the little surface on the table to the particular wreath, that's all packed up in one individual place. So I could literally say to the kids or my husband, go get that bin and put it down there. So at least I don't have to try to find where's the thing that goes here. The other thing I will do, and again, maybe I'm just the only person that does this, but I even have artwork that is just for Christmas. Anybody do that? Does anybody put art?
I don't.
Sharon, you are my people. I knew that. And remember, mine also stems from I added to it every year, just a little bit, but I added something. And so, I go, oh God, did I end up, does that go up in the hall? Where's the other one? I don't remember. So because it's just Christmas and it goes back away, there's a piece of painter's tape on the back that says, in the hall over the barrel. And I know exactly where that goes. And then I leave the hole. Sometimes they have a different hole because it's size and what was there before, and I'll leave that sucker there, and it works, works for me. But that's another thing I think that will help. I strongly encourage you though to take pictures of these individual little things, whether it's setting up a beautiful tablescape. Does anybody decorate built-in bookcases or bookshelves? Yes, no? Yeah, maybe I'm taking things to a whole new level. Well, it's starting to become apparent that's the situation. But we have a gigantic bookcase in our living room that we really try to turn into more of a library. It's not a built-in. But I do, that's where all our family ornament and kind of strange mishmash things that from my childhood, some things that the grandparents gave the kids when they were younger, like those little Hallmark, kind of tacky but super cute. Decor goes, and it's all there, and I want to see it. I want to display it. So I deconstruct about 8 different shelves, take things down, and put the little Christmas vignettes up. And I don't have time to start from scratch every single year, so I just take photos, and it does make my life certainly a lot easier. So let's see, we were talking generally about, we did wreaths, we talked a little bit about lights, we talked about ornaments in general. Tell me, what are also your pain points, some things that you struggle with as far as, what do you really want to know how to deal with? Anything you can think of?
I have all of the White House ornaments.
Yes.
They're all in their own little, original boxes,
Yeah,
and things like
as
that, which is good. I also have White House style ornaments.
Okay.
They're not White House ornaments, but that, the brass.
Right.
And I have, like you showed the bins that
Yes.
have the ornament. I have those.
Okay.
What I end up doing is shoving them all into one, or a bunch, 3 brass ornaments into one of those. Do you have any other suggestions for those little flat?
So these are the ones where you do have the boxes?
Well, no, I have ones that have the boxes, which are great, and then I
Okay.
have ones where they didn't really ever have boxes. They were from other places that didn't have boxes, but they're the same style, not as high quality. For
me, what we actually use is I'll use a very small shirt box, and I just layer it with tissue paper because the biggest thing is that if you can, and again, for me, I happen to use not a storage bin, but an actual locker, so it's got some very defined sides. So you can take these things and shove it into the corner and still stack a bunch around it. And so that's probably, it's kind of straightforward, and but that's, I think, how I would do that to capitalize with as much space as possible. Or you could even find, depending upon because what do you typically store it in after you've, do you put them all in one bin, Christy, or?
It kind of just depends on how I take the ornaments off the tree.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I take it off and I put, I put the ball in, and then I grab this thing and I'm like, well, that's kind of flat. So I use those little square compartments.
Yes.
But it would be honestly, it's easier to put, so this year I did a little research and I was looking at how to decorate your tree, and you start with the bigger balls and you shove them all the way back in.
Right.
So I did that. So I like the idea of having it in a separate box for the things that are smaller that are going to go on that you put on last.
Yes. I actually do that too, but I don't do it in a super, I don't have it in a very organized fashion, but it certainly worked for me. We got one of those tiered boxes. It looks like a snowman actually, but I think it I don't know, it probably came from Harry and David or something years ago, but the kids liked it. And so it has all the tiny, I'm talking, I really have a problem, guys, tiny little ornaments, and they typically kind of go at the top, or they're things that are my favorite ornaments that I won't even let the boys touch. I'm like, no, I want to hang the angel. I want to do the little tiny angel. So I put them all in one little box because it's a very tight fit, so that I know they're going to be better protected. So having an individual box for those, I think, or something that you need, that you're going to do last, is not necessarily a bad thing. It's not going to get out of the mix. And with a lot of those section boxes, though, guys, there's no reason you have to use every single section. You can, at least the ones that I have, you can take out the individual sections. So stack 2 or 3 things, if that makes sense too. You literally have to think outside the box for some of those.
Literally.
Exactly.
I like that idea. Yeah, no, I like that idea. I could have a whole layer at the bottom of the box where it just has the 2 things to hold it so it doesn't collapse, and I could have my little flat ornaments in there.
Right. And believe it or not, I really have, for my whole house, I have a giant trunk with just the greens, right? I've got a wreath box that's almost as tall as I am, and it's just tall and skinny, and it goes up in the garage, but I just literally plunk them one on top of each other. These are the outside wreaths. I have a fresh wreath on the inside. I've got, one giant ornament trunk, and then one smaller thing, of course, with the snowman. But I think I only have 4 of these, they're just Rubbermaid tubs. You can see they're red and green. And that's really all I have.
Wow.
That's
I must have 20.
Well, okay, now I take that back. I do have one that's just for the boys' tree because it's all like handmade things they have. But because I kind of fit it in, I guess it really doesn't include like all my pillows and my holiday linens. But as far as stuff that comes out of this, or the bins, it's because I also utilize some of my decor to be storage as well. And I think that's an easy way to make that work. I've even started, as crazy as this sounds, is we have a very large vanity in our powder room. It's one of these very strange unused spaces, and it's just a big vanity for one little sink, right? And I always have this cute sleigh that goes there and a little light, and it's like this big. But you know what? Last year I got smart. I put it on the vanity. Now I know most people have a pedestal. I'm like, why do I haul it up and I haul it down? So I put the holiday linens, the holiday candles, and all those things in there because there's so much room. So, you know, I encourage you to think about those things as well. If that's, I even added a couple of years ago, guest room decor with holiday pillows. Again, I have a problem.
Wow.
But I realized, why am I going to put that anywhere other than in the room for which it goes?
Yeah.
So it's underneath the bed, and I pull it out once a year, and I don't even have to think about it, because I think the hardest part for us as, you know, as busy women with busy lives is the last thing you want to do is an awful lot of thinking about this. You want to make it beautiful, and you want to make it fun. And the less you have to think, or, you know, the more you can make it easy, I think it's the more fun that you're going to have, and make Christmas a little bit less stressful. And your back will thank you.
Yeah.
Right?
I think this year needs to be my year of downsizing, because, you know, those plastic bins you showed, I probably have 25 of those. And half of them are probably still full, and they're down in the basement right now because it's the stuff that I don't want to put out anymore, but yet I can't bear to throw it away. But I think I need to say to myself, if I haven't decorated with this in 5 years, it's time to say goodbye to the little sleighs or the little, you know.
No, that's a great idea. And I try to do that as well, kind of like when you change out your closet from summer to fall and you realize, why am I going to move this to the closet if I haven't worn it again, or I'll never be that size? You know, give yourself permission to let it go.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I've also found too, guys, the one thing with Christmas decor is that, to me, it doesn't also have to be trendy. It just has to make you happy. And it, you know, because I have stuff from years and years and years ago that I still love and enjoy. And I think that as long as you change it up, if you want to, or you just take your pictures and you keep it the same for the next 20 years, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Any other questions or anything that I could help you problem solve?
What about outdoor lights? So you talked about the hanger, but I have a lot of those bush lights that are like a big piece. I tend to take those off, unplug each strand, and just place it gently into one of those bins, like on your dining room table there. So
and honestly, that's what I have done as well the majority of the time. The other thing I've done that's been very easy, because I've found that those net lights don't get tangled in the same way. But occasionally the ends of them do get tangled in the others, and you spend a few moments. I would just put them in individual bags. I'm going to send as follow-up to you guys. I think that has some giant Ziploc bags. I've even had success getting them at places like the dollar store. But if you know, or just just any sort of bag, you could even use a big grocery bag if you needed to, just so that they don't get tangled on the ends. I think it's again not so bad. We hardly put those out, so. Because that's the part I don't like doing, and I don't get a lot of help on that, so.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, for outside decor, I just really, I do the same exact thing as far as, you know, little picks and pieces that we use for my outside decor. You know, I have my wreaths and I have the box with same thing. This is front yard, the side of the yard. This goes on the bell. This goes on the on the trash compound. This goes on at the front porch. So just got to be specific about it. It makes it easier for you to put it out next year.
Yeah.
And don't forget, you got to buy these things if you learn nothing else.
Those are happening.
Garland ties. Garland ties. They're so cheap. And if they're not long enough, you just tie them together. They're easy.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, we're at our time. But thank you.
Thank you, Leigh. This is awesome.
Of course. Thank you. It was really good to see your faces. Of course, you guys have a really nice evening and the most happiest of New Year's.